Now, Joshua Blakeney is a freelance journalist and an activist, MA doctoral candidate, and he's based in Canada, and he joins us now via Skype. It's so good to have you on the program with us, Joshua. Welcome, a warm welcome to you.
It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
It's the 3rd anniversary of Operation Cast Lead, and sometimes it feels as if we're repeating ourselves, saying, when will the international community come down more on Israel and tell them enough is enough? How are things in Canada, and what's the Canadian government doing?
Well, I was quite pleased to see Peter Obern's expose of the Israel lobby in the UK, where we were able to observe that there has been a network that's infested itself in the British Parliament to lobby for impunity for the war criminals who have visited these heinous crimes and continue to visit these crimes upon the beleaguered Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. In Canada, we've had no such expose. And I have to tell you that, I'm doing my MA thesis here on the events of 9/11. I've been studying 9/11 for 4 years intensively. And I can tell you there's many indications that Israel was complicit in the events of 9/11. And I do believe that those of us living in North America and in Britain, we have an opportunity with 9/11 to raise the consciousness of the American people in particular, to pressure their government to shift their policies towards the Israeli government. I think many would agree that the only way we're going to bring these crimes to an end is if the US government imposes an embargo on Israel, shifts its policy towards Israel, ends the special relationship. And, like on 9/11, there was 5 Israelis arrested. I could go on, all the airports were run by Israeli companies.
But you see, Joshua, with arguments like these, it is very difficult when, if you just look at what's going on with the presidential Republican candidates at the moment, they're tripping over themselves to be seen as the one with the most special relationship. I don't see this ending anytime soon, unfortunately.
Well, that's because the American people don't empathize with Arabs and Muslims, because Arabs and Muslims have been dehumanized in the Western media. And I think the only way to get Americans in particular to empathize with the Palestinian struggle is to tell them that actually 3,000 of their people were slaughtered on 9/11 with the complicity of the Israeli government. And I know this is a controversial point, but I'm telling you there's an abundance of evidence on this subject matter. And false flag terrorism is a consistent policy of the Israeli government going back to the genesis of the Zionist movement. And so that's what I'm doing in my graduate studies. But I also think it's important to remind your viewers that all these absurd atrocities that are being committed in Gaza are all predicated on the fact that the Palestinian people elected the wrong government in January 2006. I mean, this is outrageous. I mean,
and it certainly is, Joshua. It certainly is. Thank you so much for joining us. Our time always too short when we have interesting conversations there. And sadly, we're entering a whole new year, and we're hoping against hope that the Palestinians will not be left to the will of inactive political leaders for another year. So to show just how much ordinary citizens are trying to accomplish, here is this edition of Global Resistance.